Шановні колеги, ми продовжуємо робочі.
We continue our working day. The ATO spokesperson from the Ministry of Defense, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. The information on the events that took place last 24 hours in ATO zone. In Lugansk direction, the military action traditionally were conducted only in Popasnyansky district. Mostly occupants were violating the silence regime only in dark time of the day. Two latest shellings were sniper shellings, Donetsk direction. The enemy opened fire at our positions near Gorlivka, immediately in three places, Zaitsevo, Novhorodska, Verkhnyataretska, and also Avdiivska industrial zone. Almost all provocations from illegal armed groups were taking place in the second half of the day. Their length is from 10 minutes to 1 hour. Heavy weapons were not applied. In total, during the last 24 hours in the Donetsk directions, there were 7 shellings registered, one of them sniper. The most unquiet situation is in Mariupolsky direction. The most active occupants are at the section of the front Vodяне-Shirokino. For the first time from the day of announcing ceasefire, during the last 8 days, the occupants were using the artillery of 122 millimeters. Also, there were some mortar shellings taking place at our positions. They launched about 60 mines. Heavy weaponry from illegal armed groups was used in daytime and at night. Another hot point is Marinka. The occupants were also shelling several times in direction of our positions between 6 and 10 p.m. In total, in Mariupolsky direction yesterday, there were 11 enemy shellings, 5 from heavy weaponry yesterday in the area of ATO. 8 drones were registered in all directions. During the last 24 hours, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed, 2 were wounded, and these losses Ukrainian troops had near Marinka in the result of enemy shelling. We express our condolences to the families and close bys of the killed servicemen. We receive information about non-military losses in Russian occupational forces. On the 6th of September, the 32-year-old militant Artem Asanov, being in the situation of meta-alcoholic psychosis, wounded by wife, the Russian officer. On the 7th of September, during the attempt to leave the front line, the militants wounded their colleague, 28-year-old Gennady Bednov from Voronezh. This happened at so-called 9th Regiment. On the 8th of September, 40 years old, the militant Alexander Kovalyov from so-called 7th Brigade shot dead his compatriot, 29-year-old Ivan Churin from Moscow, who was also in illegal armed group. To hide this episode, the commandership wrote that the person who was killed was committed suicide. From Russia, another 12 containers with fuel materials arrived to Rovinki, to Snizhny, tanks, T-80, 10 armored personnel carriers, and 5 trucks. The militants yesterday again violated the international law, putting obstacles to the work of the OSCE monitors. Yesterday, the militants prohibited the monitors to enter village Pionerska of Lugansk district region, which is close to Ukrainian-Russian border. OSCE mission cannot get access to this village for several weeks already, which is a violation of Minsk agreements, which provide for access for monitors all over the area of ATO. At the test field in Kharkivsky region, the cadets are having practical shootings, shellings from BTI to BTR for automatic grenade launcher. Also, the trainings are carried out on military topography and tactics. In Slavyansk, the woman from illegal armed group of DPR voluntarily surrendered to law enforcers. It was found out that she joined the militants in 2014, having received the position a person on duty at the checkpoint. After liberation of the town, a woman went to Donetsk, where for 2 years was hiding. After that, she returned to Slavyansk and voluntarily surrendered to the police. Now the police checks their dark past as to whether she was involved into serious crimes or not. Ukrainian tankists are competing for the title of the best crew of the combat vehicle in Chernihiv region. There is a competition called the Tank Carousel. Also in the region of ATO, in the zone of ATO, there were trainings of Ukrainian missile launchers, anti-aircraft troops were working on the shellings and returned to the district of location. According to Minsk agreements, the missile artillery is taken to necessary distance from the contact line, according to Minsk agreement. Now the questions. Please introduce yourself.
Елена Berezhnaya, Director of the Legal Policy and Social Policy Institute. Why Ukrainian armed forces do not comply with the provisions of Minsk agreements and the special agreement about ceasefire, which is clearly stated on the website OSCE mission that both sides have not withdrawn the heavy weaponry from the contact line. Instead of reporting about killed people, whether the Ministry of Defense plans to withdraw all the troops from contact line. At the same time, there is Ukrainian administration in those territories like Mariupol, like everywhere. And this would be the good step towards real ceasefire. Thank you for your question. Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian armed groups established in line with the Constitution of Ukraine fulfill the Minsk agreements in full scope. The information which comes from the Russian side, from the monitoring mission, requires careful double checks. All the shellings which happen are initiated by the Russian occupational troops, and I believe that those shellings, attacks and attempts to conquer our positions, the local authorities would not cope independently. Thus, the armed forces of Ukraine are fulfilling their duty on protection of the territory. Those who threaten the lives of human citizens and tries to occupy the territory will be repelled by Ukrainian armed forces. I would like to underscore that Ukrainian military opened fire only in response to the initiated shellings. By the way, we never occupied territories which go beyond the administrative measures of Ukraine. We do not take aggressive actions, we just defend ourselves. That's why the main responsibility for the conflict should be put on Russian side, in particular on the political leadership of the neighboring country of Russia. If you have any possibilities to influence the Russian leadership, the command of the occupational forces which remain in Donbass and Crimea, we would be very grateful to you. It was Ukrainian side which on September 1st initiated with the initiative of Ukrainian president, which initiated the ceasefire regime. Unfortunately, Russian occupational side never from September 1st stuck with this agreement, and moreover, during last day, the militants used heavy weaponry. Dear friends, the next event will be in some minutes.